After farming over 200 mini apps, I've built the best method to farm airdrops on Telegram. It's taken me hours and hours to perfect, and I'm going to give it all to you for only $1,000 a month. Obviously, I'm joking. It's free. Of course, it's free. Here's a guide on how to use it to max out your airdrops this bull run. If you haven't been farming Telegram yet, firstly, what are you doing? Get on it. But if you have, you'll know how hard it is to keep track of all the different mini apps. How long ago did you last log in? Have you hit the streak for the day? There's a lot to keep track of. There just is. I've made it simpler for you by building this airdrop tracker that you can use free of charge. In my Telegram chat, the main complaints I'm seeing is, damn, I messed up my streak, or I forgot about that game. For me, outside of the game being down, I've been able to hit every single streak every day and hit all of the apps at the optimal time as well to make sure that I'm farming these airdrops as good as possible. By the way, if you want to join my Telegram chat, there's a link in the description. You can get on that now. Don't worry, I'll wait here for you. It's okay. Go do it now. All right. Let's get into the tracker. Here is the tracker in all its glory. Let's go through it step by step. Quick rundown on what we've got here. Up top is the places that you can follow me. And for a little bit more of a description, you can go to this follow Lathaz page and it goes into exactly what those things are. You can also always find that page up in this top right-hand corner as well if you need it. Next, you've got some information on how to get started using it, as well as explaining some of the terms that I've got inside of this as well. Next, here are some tips and tricks that I've found that might be helpful. And if you want to look into them, you can have a look at those too. This next part is brand new. I've only just added this today. It's a tracker for the Ton Society and Galaxy Ton Trials campaigns. If you want to look into this, we'll go into more detail later. And finally, it's the holy grail of trackers. This time-saving, free-to-use, comprehensive airdrop tracker is here, ready for you to be used. Let's start from the top and work our way down, shall we? If you haven't used Notion before, I'll leave a link in the description to a basics video that you could watch that might help you a little bit as we go, but I'll point out most of the main things that you're going to need just throughout this video anyway, so you should be fine. Let's look straight at the getting started section. Now, you see here it says click the arrow. This is how we have a drop down, and you'll see this a lot throughout this template. First step is you'll need to sign up or log in to your own Notion page. This tracker that you're looking at right now is view only. You can't type or edit it in any way. So to do that, we need to use the duplicate button up the top here. Once you click on duplicate, it will take you to this screen where you'll be able to add it to your private pages. As it is a bigger template, it might take a couple seconds to load in, but once it is there, you'll then be greeted with this screen here. And there you have it. You have your own version that you can now edit and put whatever you like in here. Shameless plug. Not often does a creator share with you something that you can just straight up copy yourself, but I guess I'm just a good guy. But seriously, I want us all to be able to get our airdrops together. It's way more fun doing this together than it is just doing it on my own. The next step on our getting started list is to click the playing box for every game that we're actively playing. So if we scroll down here now, you can see on the side here it says playing. If I click on any of these boxes, it will then select that. Once I've done that, I can go to this little playing tab here and I can see only the games that I've selected. This means that this area here is completely free of all the waste of all the different games. That's the basics all done. So now let's look at what each of these fields do and how to use them. If you want a recap of this at any time and you don't want to go back and watch the video just to find that one moment, you can just go to this explaining terms and fields section. And this is where every single column here is outlined exactly and why it's being used in the way it is. I've shown you the playing view, but let me show you these other views as well. If I click on this one here, this is about the frequency in which you have to get onto this game. So for example, something like human, you need to get on every hour to do that, whereas other things you might only have to get on every 3 hours, or maybe even longer. I've ordered this list into all of the games that I've put on there, ordered in the frequency in which you have to get on there. This next tab is the date added view, where you can see all of the newest games that I've added to this list, and I'm constantly updating this, so make sure you come back and check here all the time to see if there's any new games that I've added. If you want to see them all, obviously go to all and you can see every single game that I've got listed here currently. If there's a game on this list that you think that I should be farming, either send me a DM or chuck a comment in this video and I'll make sure I add it. The first person that tells me about a game will get my referral, which means that you'll also get all the secondary referrals from when I'm referring people and putting it on this spreadsheet. First thing you'll see here is the set time button. Click this button whenever you have just been on that app and you've done the tasks that you needed to. When you click it, it'll log the exact time that you were just on it, and then that will help you in figuring out when you need to get back on it again the next time. What you'll see after clicking the set time button is then it starts to tell you a time since you pressed that button last. This is helpful because if we know that we have to get on an app every 3 hours and I can see that it's been 2 hours and 31, then I know I'm approaching the time when I need to get on it again. To visually represent this, we have the ready field. If it's a green dot, that means that it's ready for you to get back on because you haven't been on in the time that you needed to be. Every time you wake up, you're going to see a lot of these greens. If it's within 1 hour of needing to get on it, it'll have close with this little clock symbol. And if it's not ready yet, then it'll just have this little red circle. Imagine it like you're setting timers for all the different games that you're tracking so that you know when to get on to all of them. The best part about this is it's visually represented and you can see them all at a glance. You also can see when you haven't farmed something that you should have, and maybe it's been sitting there for 3 days and you just forgot about it. This daily field here is a drop down menu. If you click on this, it gives you different options. If there's a streak that you need to have in the game, that's what I would use the daily streak for. Multiple daily is if there's a streak, but also there's like some tasks you need to do every day. The no daily is what I would use if there's nothing you have to do every day. Daily tasks is if you just have to go on and do some tasks every day. And then airdrop completed is just if the farming is no longer continuing for that app anymore. This frequency section here, you may need to adjust this for yourself. For example, some of the games you only have to get on every 6 hours, but you can buy upgrades that make it so you can get on sooner than that or longer than that. If that's the case, just go in and change this frequency field to be however many hours it will be until you need to get back on that game again. Going back to the all tab again, this tier column is where I rate it personally. 6 is the highest that I'm willing to give something, and then 5 and all the way down. You could change this yourself and make it your own tier list if you'd like to. My tier rating is a combination of how fun it is to play, how easy it is to farm, and how big I think the airdrop will be. The link column here is pretty self-explanatory. It helps you get into the game straight away from this page. Most, if not all of these are referral links, and I would really appreciate it if you use those for the first time. It just helps out, especially considering how many hours I put into building this. In my Telegram chat, I do often run giveaways to put your referral links into these spots here so that you get the benefits of claiming all of those referrals. So if you want access to that, join my Telegram. The status column is just telling you where we're at in the cycle for this airdrop. If there's any apps that haven't launched yet, but I know are coming soon, I would have the yet to launch there. Farming just means that you are actively able to farm them at the moment. Season 2 plus farming is if they've already done their airdrop, but now they're going to do a second season. And then finally, if the airdrop farming is completely ended for that one, then I would use that one. The notes section here, you can obviously put whatever you want in there. I've used this sometimes to remind me to get on at a certain time of day, and that's when the daily streak starts for that day. Other times I've used it as a way to put some of the information about that app to remind me about why it's important to farm that one. But you can use the notes field however you like. There's also an airdrop info section here, and this is mainly about the airdrop itself, whether the claim has already started, if the final day of mining has happened, when the date is that it's going to end, if there's any other information that I want to know about it. That's stuff I put in there. This little checkbox is called daily done. I use this to show myself that I've been on that app and done the daily tasks for that day to make sure that I don't forget to go on it every day. As I'm farming these throughout the day, I'm clicking these and making sure that I've done each of the dailies. At the end of the day or the beginning of the next day, I'll click this little reset daily button here and it will reset them all back to 0. You can also use the daily done section with this streak counter system as well that I've developed. Now don't worry exactly about what's happening in the back end here. It is quite complex, but basically it's inside of this streaks log section here. So don't touch that because you could mess with it otherwise. If you've completed the daily streak for the day and you want to make sure you log that, click on streak +1 and it will not only add the daily done box here, but it will also add 1 to your current streak. If I get on it again for the next day, I could click streak +1 again, and it would then go up to number 2. If you accidentally pressed it twice or something like that, you can click on the streak -1 and it will take it back a day. If you manage to get yourself up to a higher streak, but you missed a day and you have to reset it again, rather than going one by one, you can just click the streak reset button and that will reset it for you. Hopefully you never have to touch this column. The tasks to do field is basically a reminder for me to come back to that app later in the day or later in the week because there's things that I need to get done on that app. For example, in Bums at the moment, there's a bunch of YouTube videos that I'm meant to watch and then verify that I've watched them. I haven't done those for the last few days, so I might just click on the tasks to do box to make sure that I go back to that later and complete all of those extra tasks. This device field here is to represent when something is able to be played on desktop or if it's only able to be done on mobile. There are a lot of these mini apps that are only meant to be done on mobile because they're trying to stop bots from farming them. But as someone that sits at my desk all day, it is handy to know that I can play them on my desktop when I need to. As we talked about earlier, the date added field just tells you when I've updated this app or when I've put this app onto the tracker for the first time. Now that you know exactly how to use it, this is how I use it every day. For this, I'm just going to go to my own personal tracker so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You can see I have all these different tabs. This morning priorities tab is the one I go to every time I wake up. And this is just where I want to go to all of these games straight away to start them working for me. Start the day, I would click reset daily. Now I've got a clean slate to work with. Then I would open up my Telegram app. I would go to Ton Station and I would do the tasks that I need to. I would click time set. to say that I've been on there, and I know that now it's 8 hours until I need to get on there again. And then I would click on this daily done field if I've done the daily streak for that app. You will notice this streaks field here. I've set this in my own one. I don't know if everybody wants this, but basically I just chose these as the ones that I needed to get onto every day. And if I didn't, I would be really upset with myself. So these are like my most important ones to get on. The ones that are listed here are all the games that I'm playing very consistently every day. And then I also have my airdrops tab, which has every single airdrop that I'm currently farming. Some of them I don't get onto every day. As you can see, drops I haven't been onto for a number of days. And often this list is a little bit more unorganized because as soon as I find a new app that I want to farm, I put it in here and then I just get back to it whenever I want to. In my notes section, I'm adding how much I'm spending on all of these games as well in terms of stars or ton or sui or whatever it is. And then I've made a stars tab which organizes that information based on how much I've spent on all of those apps. If you want to add any more fields to this yourself, you can always swipe across to the side here and you click on this add button and you can add a brand new field if you'd like to. The other cool thing about Notion is that each of these things here are their own pages. So I can just click on X Empire here and it would take me to a page that is dedicated just to X Empire. It shows me all the fields up the top here that you can already see over here, just in a different way. And you also can have any other information down here that you want. So I'd built a tracker here to make sure that I was getting on and doing all of the relevant upgrades that I needed to. If you haven't played X Empire, City Holder is a pretty similar game, but basically this was a way for me to track that, and I had that just inside the X Empire section for myself. Anything that has that little page icon there means that there's something inside of that page that you can go and look at. Switching to my phone here, you can see how I use it there. Basically, I've got the time set still as normal. I've got the name, whether it's ready to go. I've got my daily done section there and my daily streak and that sort of stuff there as well. I see that I go into Ton Station, I click open, I do the task that I need to. And then once I've done it, I would just switch across back to the Notion page, click time set, click the daily that I've done it, and then move on. Usually this is how I'm tracking it just throughout the day. I'm using the mobile app and being able to do it through that. But if I've got some time at the end of the day, I would prefer to sit down with a laptop open in front of me or at my desktop and being able to track it on my computer while I play the games on my phone. Each their own, right? You might only like mobile versions of things and you might like to do it all on mobile. The beauty is you can do it on either. I'm not going to go through all the tips and tricks today. I might make a follow-up video on that. The one I would point your attention to is the follow late as section. If you click on this page in here, this just gives you info on what I'm doing on each of these platforms and why you might like to follow me there. YouTube is where I do all of my deep dives and I'm trying to put out 1 to 2 videos every week or two. Telegram, I have an alpha channel where I share my unfiltered thoughts, and as soon as I find out about something, I post it straight in there. We've also got an alpha chat, which is where you can talk to some of the other people in the community, and I'm engaging with people in there constantly as well. On Twitter, I'm making a daily dose thread that basically goes through all of the information that you would need to know from that specific day into one giant thread that you can read in less than 5 minutes. I also do post some other stuff there, but that's the main stuff that I do on Twitter at the moment. And down the bottom here, I've made a Twitter list that follows all of the projects and all of the games and all of their news, so that you can just go and look through that as a news feed if you'd like to, without having all the extra noise of everything else that's on Twitter. If there's anything you want added to this projects list, let me know. I'm happy to add it in there. My aim with all of this is to make it as simple as possible for you to farm these games. As I said, I really want to make sure that we can succeed together. I find it way more fun doing things in a community. So if you do find value in all of this, please follow me on all those things and share it with different people. That would really help me out as well. I won't go into a great amount of detail about this Ton Society stuff here, but basically I've just made something for myself that I thought might be useful for people, so I've popped it in here too. If you're watching this later, this isn't going to be applicable to you, but just so you know, there's probably going to be other things like this that I'm going to put into the tracker. One thing I do want to say is because you're making a duplicate of this, you're not going to get any of the updates that I make to this on your own one. So that's why I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you to see the new things that I'm adding. So I would keep coming back to this tracker once a week or so and checking to see if there's any new things that I've added up here, or going to this date added section here and seeing if there's any new games that I've added to the template. If you want to add this to your own database, you could. You can just go and click on this button here, click Control C and copy that and paste it in your own one. Or you can just make a new duplicate of this template and you could then move it wherever you want it to. If there's any major updates, look in the pinned comment below here and I'm sure I'll have some information there. All that to say, you can essentially use this as a read-only thing if you want to, just to see my thoughts and all the updates there. But obviously, if you want to use this for yourself, you click on duplicate and then you can use this to track your own airdrops. This is merely the beginning of all the content that I'm putting out. I hope you're ready. Even in terms of this airdrop, so much is being worked on in the background at the moment, including adding in other ways that you can make money in crypto, whether it be through yield farming or airdrop farming outside outside of Telegram or whatever it is, and having specialists putting in their content in here as well. That's the sort of stuff that you can be ready for to come in here in the future. You're following me so early, so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your support. That's it for today. So remember to go and follow me on all these different platforms to keep yourself up to date with everything that's happening in the Telegram mini app space. What's the feature in this tracker that you think is going to be the most useful for you? Please drop a comment and let me know. And if there's anything that you want added to this, also drop a comment and let's get those things added so it can benefit all of us. But otherwise, happy tapping. See ya.